February the 29th, I got blown out of a foxhole. I received an abdominal wound, and but I was unconscious for a while from the concussion, and when I came to, there was this massive German. The guards came and picked me up and then put me on a train. They were trying to correct that wound in my stomach, and they had me in a 2-bed dispensary, and in that dispensary they had, I guess he was a doctor, and 2 or 3 little, we call them candy strippers here. They wouldn't give me any special bread. I mean, all I was continuing to eat was this soup, and I was losing weight by the pound. I guess I looked kind of pitiful to this little German girl, and she began to sneak white bread into me, which was edible, knowing that if they caught her with that, they probably would have shot her. And I ate, and I started to put on weight again. This was all in a matter of a couple of weeks. And they moved me back into the camp then. And it was after this, I had no idea of what her name was. All I know is that when she'd come to work, her cheeks, from the German weather, which was very cold then, it was midwinter, her cheeks were like rosy red. And so I started calling her Pinky. When they sent me back to the other camp, as it turned out, the Russians had overrun this camp. The Russian soldier walked in there, and of course I recognized that he was not one of my regular guard, and I pointed to the flag that I had on my shoulder, which was an American flag. They wanted to know what I was doing in their camp. I told I didn't have any choice. They gave me freedom of camp for one day, and that night I picked up a pair of pliers and I cut my way through the fence again. They told me that the dividing line was supposed to be the Mulder River. I started moving. On the 6th of May, I reached the Mulder River, and the Americans were there. And I came back to the United States, and I was in the hospital in Coral Gables, Florida, for about 90 days while they were doing some repairs. And I got out of the hospital, and I went to work for a civil service. And I kept thinking about this Pinky. And I went back to see what would happen if I re-enlisted. And the Army said, no, we don't want you. I mean, you're still way underweight. The guy said, I think the Air Force is planning on becoming a separate service, and they're looking for members. I went to the Air Force recruiter, and he said, yeah, we'll take you. And I said, I want to go back to Germany. So they sent me to a place called Fürstenfeldbruck, which was a U.S. Air Force Air Corps base. And I was in charge of the investigation section for the base. They put me in constant contact with the German police. I used to work with them at night. I'd go to their police station, and I began to pick up German then after. And one night, this young German girl had come in, and she was talking to him about 30 feet away from me. But I said to myself, I said, that looks like Pinky. And there was no reason she should recognize me because I had put on weight and no longer had a beard or anything. And I went over and stood behind her while he was interviewing her. And he turned to get some paperwork, and very softly I said, Pinky. And she came up out of that chair, and 7 months later we were married. I brought her back to the United States, or at least she came back. She had to follow me by about 3 months because they had to get a passport and everything for her cleared. Oh, she did fine. She did fine. There was just 1 or 2 words, in my estimation. Now, other people who talked to her might have thought different, but there was only a couple of words that would give her away, you know, that she would change the sound to a matching sound in German, you know. she was very proud of being an American, I'm sure. But I lost her in 2003.